Okie dokie, and here we go. Are you chasing hype or are you building wealth with strategy? When stocks go up big, do you ask yourself why or just wish you was in it? How many more stock runs are you going to miss this year before you decide to get intentional on how you invest? And that's why we're here today to go over the three stocks of the week, the one that went up dramatically, the one that went down, and the one opportunity that is there in front of our eyes that we might want to take advantage of. Before we get started, as always, like, subscribe, share to our channel. In real life, I'm a certified financial planner. We're blessed to help thousands of people nationwide. On these social media airways, we'll get information, and this information is about the stocks of the week. You ready? Lego. Well, one stock that went up dramatically last week is Summit Therapeutics, up by 45%. Now, the market, we know, is tipsy-turvy, right? We had our best one day in 22 years. Then it went down by almost 4%. Then it went back up on Friday, but Summit Therapeutics went gangbusters. And this is why. The surge was contributed to investor optimism surrounding the company's lung cancer drug. The name of that drug, ivonescimab. While no new clinical trial data was released this week, the anticipation of positive outcomes from outgoing studies has fueled bullish sentiment. So technical indicators said, you know what? This is a bullish trend. And the stock moved above its moving average, and that stock soared. Who does not want to be a part of the company that is changing healthcare as we know it? Cancer is a dangerous, nasty, ugly disease. And they think they have found a way to stop the spread of lung cancer. The next generation, vaping. They don't do cigarettes anymore, they do vapes. Lung cancer is going to be prevalent as time goes on. And this company may have found a way to basically curb the spread of that. And you don't think the stock is going to go up because of it? They have a long way to go to actually get FDA approval because it is right now having to step forward to clinical trials. But the test that they have done so far has shown that it has worked. And as an investor, this might work for you. Now, they're not out the woods yet because they have not reported their revenue. And last year, they was actually down by $221 million. So they've been spending a lot of money with no money coming in. But with this new news, they are going to get institutional funding from big banks, hedge funds, private equity groups that's going to pour hundreds of millions of dollars in that company, and they're going to use that cash to continue to grow. Another good thing working for Summit Therapeutics is that they are a US-based company. You see, with the tariffs, it is also going to be tariffs on pharmaceuticals. But since they do a lot of their manufacturing here in the US, that is going to allow them to buy ingredients and not be knocked over the head because of it. When they were founded, they were just based on innovation by itself. Now, they was originally founded in the UK, right? So originally it was founded in the UK, but they did move their company to the United States of America. They're backed by a billionaire, Bob Dugan, and they had an experimental drug aimed at tackling small cell lung cancer. And they pivoted very quickly to full-on infectious disease research to oncology. And now Wall Street is looking at this company as the next to blow. That's why that 15% increase in one day or 45% last week was so pivotal because they crossed over the moving average. So a stock that will continue to help individuals, try to find ways to defeat cancer, and for investors grow because of moving past their moving average. That's why Summit Therapeutic Company up 45% might be the stock of the week. Now, we have our ups, but we have our downs. Number 2, Newsmax. And Newsmax was down by 51% last week. That's not fake news, you guys. The reason it was down by 51% is because they had a legal setback. A Delaware judge ruled that Newsmax made defamatory, inaccurate, and just lied when it came to the 2020 election. And those statements made specifically about the Dominion voting system hurt Dominion's business dramatically. Now, this was just a matter of time because Dominion first went after Fox News, and Fox News had a $400 million suit that they had to settle. So, of course, it's that domino effect. Many companies said the same thing about Dominion, but Fox was the biggest. The second biggest company from a news standpoint, Newsmax, and they got smacked because of it. And since history repeats itself, Fox had to lay off a lot of individuals and cut back dramatically. Sponsors left, and the similarities between Newsmax and Fox is way bigger, but most individuals think the same thing is going to happen. Sponsorship is going to leave. They're going to have to cut back, might have to cut programming, which means the quality will be bad and their stock will go down. That's why instantly after that suit came out and the judgment from a settlement standpoint went to Dominion Voting Systems, Newsmax tumbled by 51%. And it was like, because there was already financial scrutiny with their company. Last year, revenue of $171 million. That was their revenue, right? That's money that we bring in. But then also we have either a profit or a loss. Their loss, meaning between revenue and what they actually made or lost, their loss was $72 million. They had a loss of $72 million last year, and that is before the lawsuit, before more advertisers now pulling the plug on them, before them having to fire talent. This might be a falling ship, and investors ran out the door very quickly. The viewership might go down anyways. You see, Newsmax is a conservative or right-leaning station just like Fox News, where typically they get their viewership when? During presidential election season. And usually viewership is higher when you are representing or reporting the minority party, not the majority party. You see, when a president is conservative, then it's kind of tough for the conservative media to talk about the bad things that's going on with the presidency. And we know in TV, if it bleeds, it leads, and negativity drives ratings. The last 4 years under President Biden, they was driving ratings. Anything and everything they can between Hunter Biden, Biden falling, Biden dementia, Biden whatever, and then Kamala Harris during the election, they seized on an opportunity and negativity raised ratings. But now since President Trump's in office, you think they're going to be negative against President Trump? They're really not even negative against Republicans. So they're going to bang on Democrats when they're not in power? It's going to sell, but that story doesn't sell as much as when they're the minority party, not the majority party. So Newsmax was going to have an uphill battle anyways when it came to viewership. So during the presidential election, they lost $72 million. The year that they would get the most revenue over a 4-year time period with as polarizing of a candidate as possible as President Trump. And they still lost $72 million. This stock, my friends, Newsmax, some can look at it as a buying opportunity. Some might look at it as a falling ship. The stock miss of the week, Newsmax being down by 51%. Then we have our opportunity of the week, and that, my profiteers, CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike had an amazing week last week, being up by 17%. Monday last week it had $100,000. By Friday, that's $117,000. The market was tipsy-turvy. CrowdStrike may have hit its bottom, and now it's starting to recover. And that surge was based on 3 different things. Their earnings was 19% for the month of March. It's supposed to be a recession coming along, and they made 19%. Over the last 12 months, they've made 23%. Every $100 they spent, they've got a return on their investment of 23%. That's good. And their annual revenue is now over $4 billion. See, Wall Street has a formula. When a company's revenue is more than 15% and their actually dollar amount is past $4 billion, they look at this as a sustained company. CrowdStrike was first looked at as a tech company that may or may not be around, but hitting those two metrics gave Wall Street the sense of this company being around for the long term, and they got rewarded by being up by 17% last week. And also, analysts start saying that we should be overweighted. We should not only buy this as a buy rating, but it should be overweighted. You should buy more than what you usually do because of this, raising the actual price target from $431 a share to the next 6 months, $450 a share. And that sent the stock running as well. And the crowning achievement last week, because success happens in threes for them, was Google, who awarded them the 2025 Google Cloud Computing Service of the Year, highlighting its strong position in cybersecurity. So what does CrowdStrike actually do? Well, they're the biggest player in cybersecurity. Their main job is to secure networks from hackers. And they got into a lot of trouble as they had a data breach end of last year. And some individuals thought that they were gone. See, the biggest players in the game uses CrowdStrike: Walmart, Netflix, Nvidia, Best Buy. Fortune 500 companies, you name them, they're probably either partnering or solely use CrowdStrike to protect their data from hackers. So you have a huge malware and spyware attack through them on computers, through companies that shut companies down for hours upon hours. That looked bad for CrowdStrike, and their stock went down by 60% in a matter of 3 weeks. When that happened, that should have been looked at as an opportunity. Something going down by 60%, when it goes back up, that's 140% gain. Individuals who bought at the low, which most people don't, right now are feeling so good because they're up by almost 70%. So CrowdStrike still has a way to get back to where it was. But with their strong revenue, it seems that companies are past that data breach. They see the long-term success of CrowdStrike. They want to be protected from a cybersecurity standpoint, and they're picking them to ride the wave. That's why CrowdStrike up by 17%. So what are we going to do? We're going to invest in Newsmax, catch that fall in life, hoping that Newsmax goes up again. We're going to invest in CrowdStrike because it's looked at the cybersecurity leader, and we want to be the best in class. Or we're going to invest in Summit Therapeutics, who makes a difference in the world, and their stock is going up because of it. I know one thing: research, analyzing, and decision making allows you to drive your decisions when it comes to stocks. Are we going to do it? Well, love is love. My voice is horrible. Just got back in town from Pittsburgh, as you guys know. Let's make some painful progress together, y'all. Peace.